we talk about what happened to Liverpool yesterday? Because I think it's the juiciest subject matter.
I think it was so good, wasn't it?
Craziness.
It was so good. That Liverpool result, 3-0. Then Jurgen Klopp coming out afterwards, and he was asked a fairly reasonable question by a journalist.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't...
Feels like it always is before he blows up. It's always a reasonable question.
And he basically went, I ain't answering that question from you. You know why. If he wants to ask me, I'll answer it. He asks me, he answers it. Like, what are you doing?
And it's rude.
He always seems to be taking defeat really badly.
Yeah.
Like, you know, managers seem to... And look, maybe he's a sore loser. Fergie used to be the same. Pep used to be the same. You know, all these managers are the same. When they're losing, they're not happy. And, you know, it's not where they want to be. But he always seems to be taking it really badly. He doesn't look like a man that's in control.
No.
And he's always exuded, you know, control and being able to manage things. And
patience.
Look, I know Rory was saying on his channel they might need to sack him. But does he get sacked by Liverpool?
No, I don't think he gets sacked unless there's a real crazy... They get smashed in the Champions League. They lose 6 in a row in the Premier League. That's not going to happen. If you sack someone like... Look what happened to Man United after Fergie, Arsenal after Arsene Wenger, even a little bit, you know, when Mancini left Man City. I mean, there are always these chasms in the football club when these big names leave. Liverpool could literally end up 30 years not winning another league title again. I know it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy because United have got the cash. They do. Whether it's well run or not, I think eventually you'll get there. City, of course, have got almost endless amounts of money. Newcastle and Chelsea. And do you know what I mean? Do you know what you look at it? Even Arsenal, miles ahead of them. So Liverpool, if they sack Klopp, and how could they compete with a different manager? How could they ever compete with those different sides?
Look, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I'll give you my opinion in a bit. But do you think the whole 7-year thing is a thing? Has his style, with the lack of being able to change all those players within the squad, has it kind of burnt everyone out?
I think trying to just... He started with the foundation of working hard, the gegenpress stuff. Sort of every player has to have a responsibility. Every player had this kind of humbleness, didn't they? They were all kind of working hard for the football club, whether they were big names or small names. They were all playing for Liverpool at 1,000%. And in the last couple of years, I think Liverpool have had to adapt and bring Thiago in, people like that, and play better football. And it's not easy to just say to players, right, you've got to play better football now, be more of a possession-based side. I don't think it's as easy as that. That's why there's so many coaches that... Only a couple of coaches have ever been able to coach a side to play beautiful football. Look at Guardiola, Cruyff. There's only a couple to do it at a very, very high level. Jurgen Klopp hasn't done it at a high level. You know, we saw it last season probably in its fruition in terms of someone like Thiago coming in, they're getting on the ball more, having more possession, they're running less. And they did nearly win 4 trophies last season, but then they didn't win the Premier League, they didn't win the Champions League, and now they've fallen off. So that transition...
What do you mean he hasn't done it at the highest level?
Sorry, what I'm saying is he's done it at the highest level.
I need to let you explain yourself.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, I need it as well. What I'm trying to say is Liverpool phase 1, is it fair to say Liverpool phase 1 was gegenpress, working hard, simple passing.
But they did it at a high level, right?
High intensity, and they won everything in that way. Liverpool 2.0, which is kind of the 7-year kind of time frame of what you've just said about Mainz and about Dortmund, he's trying to instill a more of a possession-based, stylistic kind of midfield that control the game. He's definitely changed his style, and it happened last season. But with that style, he only ended up with an FA Cup and a League Cup. He didn't actually...
Do you think it's not a change of style, and maybe they just haven't got the players to do his usual style? If you get what I'm trying to say,
it's hard. Jurgen Klopp is one of the best managers in the world. It's as simple as that. How can you discredit him when you got Mohamed Salah's done nothing in the last 6 months since the contract? He's not running. How can you discredit, Matip? What he did yesterday against Wolves was absolutely embarrassing. They got injuries like Van Dijk. I don't think Alisson's been poor. Trent, Robertson, shocking this season. Shocking in my... I'm not trying to be biased as a City fan. They did not represent Liverpool yesterday. That was not Liverpool Football Club playing against Wolves. It wasn't. And a club of that stature, there are some sides that can go to Wolves and lose 3-0, whatever it is. But Liverpool should not be losing in that manner. It's not right.
The writing's on the wall for Klopp.
In what time frame?
I think he should be allowed to make his own decision and decide when he goes. And I think if they sacked him, there'd be a disgrace. Because most of the reasons of why you see Liverpool falling off now is because they haven't backed the manager.
Yeah.
They haven't given him the resources that other clubs have. And I also think when you look at the Darwin Núñez signing, Who else did they sign?
Gakpo. We've got to talk about Gakpo.
Cody Gakpo. They signed Cody Gakpo and Darwin Núñez. 2 players that were doing well for their respective clubs in Portugal and in Holland. But those seem to be players where there wasn't really a plan to buy them. They just bought them.
Yeah.
With every other signing that they've made, there seemed to be a method to it.
Mm.
There seems to be a reason, scouting, numbers, stats, all that kind of stuff. And I don't think they did the same with Cody Gakpo. I don't feel like they've done those were signings that they probably wouldn't have made a year ago, and they seem to be making them now.
Well,
you also looked at they spent all that money. Sorry to cut you there.
Yeah.
They spent all that money, and your midfield's still threadbare. Really,
Yeah.
You're relying on young kids like Harvey Elliott and all that. Thiago, for as good as he can be, hasn't really performed. If this was Paul Pogba, that Thiago was Paul Pogba, we'd be ridiculing him. Like, he hasn't performed at all. Maybe, and at other times he's been injured. Like, you look at the team, Henderson, Milner, they're still there.
They're still there.
Like, those players shouldn't be, and that's for not backing the manager. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
If they back the manager properly and they did their scouting properly, this team would be looking a lot better.
These transfers now have all been the ones that have seemingly gone wrong anyway. Have been ever since Michael Edwards left.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And that's a massive factor.
And he was the one that told Klopp, trust me, you want Salah. Klopp was like, I don't want Salah. I think he wanted Julian Brandt or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, Marco Ruiz or someone like that.
Yeah.
Good players, but nevertheless. And he went, no, I want Mo Salah. No, sorry. Michael Edwards went, no, you want Mo Salah.
Trust me,
For the style of football that you want to play, Mo Salah's your guy. And look, there he is.
Yeah.
He's your guy.
Also, on that note about Salah himself, like yesterday, must have been 3, 4, 5 chances that he spurned. Certainly doesn't seem like his old self. Like, Salah's really fell off this season.
I
It's
think
the classic
that,
thing.
and I
Give him
thought that,
give a guy
but
a
then
load of money.
Liverpool fans say he's the only one that's performing.
Yeah, but
and we have to
what
kind
level?
of...
They're 10th. Aston Villa, I mean, are they 10th or 11th?
They're closer to the relegation zone than Manchester United.
Yeah, and it's shocking. And it's also, they're closer to sides like Aston Villa, who sat their manager for being in a relegation battle at the start of the season, Steven Gerrard. So it's absolutely crazy. There is, look, what you just said about the strategy of Klopp and the kind of, he wasn't backed, I think it's absolutely fair. For some reason, they're pinning all their hopes on Jude Bellingham, for example. I don't think that's a adequate
without
transfer
Champions
strategy.
League football.
It's not going to happen anyway because they're not going to pay him $300,000 a week. Like, they can't do it.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, but it's either the manager or it's the play. It has to be someone has to be accountable. It can't just be this kind of philosophical. If we spend the right money in the summer, or if we spent more money in January. I'm sorry, but the guys that started. I mean, we've got an 80 million quid striker, Darwin Núñez. His efforts on goal yesterday. They're shocking. And I know he's hit a few on target. And I'm even hearing the commentators saying, he's hit it on target. Mate, a world-class striker for that price should be hitting corners of the goal. Corners of the goal, roof of the net.
In terms of big chances missed.
He's on hitting the target.
His big chances missed is in like the top 5 in the Prem.
On my life, I'd take Billy Sharp over him right now for Liverpool. On my life, I'd take Billy Sharp. The guy's about 55 years old and he's a proper... I'll get Kevin Phillips out of retirement. But these guys are proper. They hit the corner. Maybe they miss, but they go for the corner. We're seeing this guy scooping it middle of the goal, just trying to get his stats up.
Billy Sharp.
But seriously, I'll take a Billy Sharp. He's doing it in the Championship for Sheffield United. They could get promoted.
Darius Vassell?
Mate, come on. Darius Vassell.
Would you take Gabriel Barnahor?
I'll take Samaras.